If you were like me and grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s, the name Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark will most likely bring back memories. It opened me and my friends' eyes to the horror genre, alongside R.L. Stein's Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark? However, Scary Stories were different, as although the stories being told were not dissimilar to that of an average Goosebumps novel, the reason it stuck out to us was that the images that accompanied them. Sure, the cover art for Goosebumps could be a little creepy sometimes, but absolutely nothing can compare to the grisly, surreal horror that artist Stephen Gamble conjured up, pushing the boundaries of what we were comfortable with. We ate it up, however, as it was seen as a sort of rite of passage to be able to read them all back to front, and it ended up being one of my favorites that I would keep coming back to throughout my elementary and middle school years. My attachment to these original issues was one of the main reasons I was so incredibly disappointed in the anniversary editions that HarperCollins published in 2011, as the new artwork by Brett Helquist severely neutered the books, not giving them the same edge and aesthetic found in the Gamble originals. Now, this isn't a knock against Helquist, as he is an extremely talented artist, as he did the covers to the series of Unfortunate Events books, another series that I was quite fond of as a kid, but his style didn't really amplify the terror of the stories told by author Alvin Schwartz like Gamble did. But now the movie adaptation of Scary Stories has come out, and I have to say that I am pretty pleased with the results of it. It plays out as an anthology of sorts that happens in the same setting throughout the whole movie, sort of like an edgier version of the Goosebumps movie. And even for only having a PG-13 rating, it certainly does all it can to be as frightening and creepy as possible without it being too overkill. There are plenty of moments in this film, particularly with the first kill, that are genuinely frightening, and they do it without being overly gory nor relying on too many swear words. I also appreciate how it doesn't really take itself that seriously, as it has a sort of morbid sense of humor, not that dissimilar to the Evil Dead films. The monster designs in this movie are probably my favorite part of it, as it takes heavily inspiration from the original Gamble artwork and translates it rather faithfully to the big screen. Sure, there are some parts where the CGI that they use looks a little fake and wonky, but it never really takes me out of the movie experience that much. The actors also do a good job in this film, as even though most of the characters that we interact with are in their younger teenage years, they never really come across as annoying. When bad things happen to the main characters of this movie, you legitimately feel sorry for them and want them to succeed and overcome the challenges that they face. That being said, they aren't really the main focus of the movie, as it's more intent on retelling the classic stories found in the books. But that really wasn't a huge issue for me, as the characters themselves really weren't that essential to my enjoyment of the original Scary Stories trilogy. Overall, I would highly recommend seeing this movie, mainly to fans of the original Scary Stories series, as there are many hidden Easter eggs in this film that those who grew up on it would probably understand. However, even if you are unfamiliar with the source material, I feel that you would still be able to get enjoyment out of it, just as a horror flick that isn't dense and trying so hard to be deep. It's an experience that I highly recommend that you go see in theaters, and I do not want to spoil anyone on. Thank you, and hope you all have a good day.